Konnichiwa, Stigma Smashers! Welcome to a whole video about Tokyo. Tokyo has been in so many movies, so many songs. I feel like there's this mystique around Tokyo, and I thought it was going to be chaotic, loud, busy, like so many people. I instantly always think of Shibuya Crossing, the very famous intersection where everyone's walking at the same time in every which direction. I was a little nervous that Tokyo was going to feel so overwhelming, especially as a deaf-blind person. I don't like to be in crowded spaces. It's really hard to navigate, but Tokyo could not have surprised me more. I was so surprised by my actual experience in the city. So let's get into it. First of all, we arrived last night to the airport. The airport had a very calm feeling. It was very organized. We were able to take public transit to our hotel, and we got a little bit lost, but people were very helpful, and it didn't take too long to figure out how to get back. Tokyo, yes, is huge, but what I could never have imagined and just was so surprised by is that it was not overwhelming to me. So many areas of Tokyo were chill, calm, no one on the block. I couldn't believe it. Just walking around that I could be that relaxed in such a big city. Our hotel is really great, so I'll definitely link them so in case you want to check it out in Tokyo. We're in an area called Asakusa, I believe. And today, our first full day, we started off with breakfast at the hotel. We booked a rate where the breakfast was included. They had 3 dishes that we could pick from, and then a buffet where we could load up on all kinds of goodies. And I thought the selection was really good. The taste was great. It was super relaxing, lots of natural light because it was up on the 13th floor. The hotel provided pajamas for each of us, and I believe it's called yukata. So that's really fun. The bathroom obviously has some technology, and the toilet. Some of the things are more high tech, like I have a whole panel by my bed with all the lights, and each one is labeled so I can like turn on and off individual lights or all the lights. What do you feel when you travel? What is it about travel that makes you want to do it all the time? We are going to the Tokyo National Museum. I looked at all of the museums, and I was trying to choose the one that I thought we really should visit if we only visited one. We went to the main building on the 2nd floor, and we went through an exhibit that was showing the history of Japan and the associated art and artifacts of those time periods. It was so interesting. We learned about Buddhism. We learned about when the samurai were the rulers. Japanese people used to be writing in Chinese, and then they developed their own language. So we learned about so many things. It was also really accessible just from a language perspective. They had the information translated in multiple languages. There was always the ability to, for almost everything, to read in English and get the context. So I found it to be a really great museum. They also had a very cool interactive part, and you will see me in the video making this print. I think it looks so good. This is called ukiyo-e. It has an E at the end. I don't know if you say it A or E, but it's a woodblock print. This was made with stamps pressed precisely on the same square. I think it looks so good. It was really fun. Plus, walking in the park, seeing the pond, seeing our first cherry blossoms already was really nice, even on a rainy day. We found an udon restaurant that we want to try, so we're going to check that out. We just ordered udon off of a vending machine. This produces these tickets where we've already paid for the food, we've already made our selections, and then we'll give them to the chef. So cool. The dinner, the Omakase dinner, was such a highlight. I just know that's going to be a culinary highlight of our trip. And it just felt so special to be there with the rain pouring down. We're in this cozy place having this experience. The chef was really nice. He spoke enough English to present us the dishes, to answer our questions. And that was really great to be able to communicate. I love culinary experiences. It's something that I'm always going to make a budget for, because they become unforgettable memories for me. Nice to do something that's really accessible for me as a deafblind person. Like, my sense of taste is ready to go. That was unforgettable, and I definitely recommend that particular Omakase restaurant. It is a newer one. It opened last year, but it already is very well regarded, has amazing reviews. And he said that his clientele is about 70% Japanese and 30% tourists, but people are also coming from different areas of Japan. One of my favorite experiences in Tokyo was going to Tsukiji Market. Now, this is a very popular market. It was crowded. It is near the Ginza district, or maybe it's in Ginza, which is known for shopping and kind of being a little high end. The market is full of different food options. It's really overwhelming, but we went with a tour guide who I highly recommend. Her name is Roko, and we can share her information. She took us to the spots that she knew. She made it really easy for us, and we saw things that we wouldn't have seen on our own. One of the things that we did with her was go up to a small business that had a bunch of snacks. And we don't know what any of this stuff was, but the owner was giving us like things to try. And we got some like wasabi chips from this place. Crunchy fish with wasabi flavor. And once we got one taste of this snack, we were like, okay, we're buying this. We're buying this right now, no question about it. So that was our favorite snack. Another thing that Roko took us to was a sushi stand. And I think if you had asked me before I went to Japan, would I be eating sushi from an open air market? I would be thinking, no, not gonna do that. I would be very skeptical of it. But because our tour guide took us there, then I was totally open to it, and I'm so glad I was. This sushi was some of the best that I had in my whole trip. The guy was, you could tell he's like a legend. There's such a long line there, and he was very generous with his portion size. Like, we got big piece of salmon, tuna. It was so delicious. You know, you can know that it actually was delicious because we went back again. We're like, we have to eat that sushi again. Thankfully, our trip was long enough that we could do things like that when we really liked something. Another highlight of the market was the matcha spot. Now, they're making matcha the real way there with the whisk and everything. They take their matcha serious. So I'm gonna have a whole nother video about tea and a whole nother video about like the best food experiences to go more in depth. Look out for those so that you can plan your trip if you are a food lover, tea lover. But I also went back to the market for the matcha. So I was very happy with the market experience. It's really, really cool. You get to see all the snacks are, the fruits and vegetables, and they even have like other types of stores. Like, we went to a knife store and we learned about the Japanese knives, all the different kinds of knives, and there's a lot to see there. So that was definitely a highlight. Another highlight from our walking tour with a tour guide was going to Sensō-ji temple. The temple is a Buddhist temple. There's also a Shinto temple on the grounds. It is huge, so ornate, so beautiful, and there was an accessible entrance with an elevator to get up to the main temple platform, so yay for accessibility. On the way to the temple, there was a long street, not with cars, just for walking, with small stands on each side, businesses, where they are making things, they have food, they have artistry, crafts, so many beautiful things there. And we had a lot of fun just saying, "Ooh, that looks good, let's eat it. Ooh, that looks good, let's eat it." Just like little quick things. I just really enjoyed the walking around and seeing all the businesses. This was also where I was getting to see some culture, just the pathway up to the temple. I think there was some history that you could read on the walls. There were some people dressed up in kimonos, and so it was just a really wonderful vibe. One of the things we had was crackers that we saw some ladies making, and I feel like anytime that I see someone who has a food business and they are older, I immediately assume, oh, they know what they're doing. I don't know if that's right all the time, but when I see it, I'm like, oh, I have to go eat there because they've been around in this business for a long time. Those are all of my assumptions. They had a lot of different flavors. That was really fun. And then we went to another place that had mochi balls on a stick. The mochi itself was not like a sweetened mochi, but they had like a sauce on the outside that was kind of sticky that gave it a little bit of sweetness, but it wasn't like an overwhelming sweetness. It was like freshly made. So that was delicious. It was raining, it was cold. So that was a little bit of a tough day to be outside, but I'm so glad we got to do a private walking tour and ask all of our questions and learn a lot about the culture. So if you're someone who really likes to learn about history and have conversations with the local, hiring a local tour guide is the way to go. We enjoyed walking to the sumo show that we did because that was a very long walk and we went across bridges. We saw temples that day. Just as we were walking, we paused, of course, to take in the beauty, and then we keep walking and seeing the changing neighborhoods and seeing the architecture and noticing things. Enjoying being in a completely different reality than the one that we are used to, because even just little things like the architecture, or oh look, there's a vending machine on the street. Like, we don't have that, or we're not used to that. It just makes for endless conversation and engagement. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about travel, that you feel more alive because you're not on autopilot. If you're doing it right, I think you are noticing, you are engaging, you're asking questions. And so it feels like your brain is on in a way that it's not on in your everyday life. So Tokyo gave us so much to feast on, literally, metaphorically, all of it. This was called the Sumo Experience, and I'm gonna link it in the description so you can go to their website and find out all about this experience. I found this because my partner is really into sumo, or he really just wants to experience it. And then when I read about it, it looked really cool for me too. So we're gonna have dinner there. We'll see 3 matches featuring retired sumo wrestlers. They will present us information so we can learn about the tradition of sumo, and we'll have an opportunity to interact. Watching the video now, and I'm like, okay, I thought in my head, he went really easy on me. What I see is that I'm pushing him. They say go, I'm pushing. And all he did was step to the side. He just shifted his weight, stepped to the side, and I was still pushing. But I don't think I was really angry enough or trying to be super aggressive. When I used to do martial arts, I would tap into a fierce energy, a lot of power. I was just laughing so hard inside my head, what does this look like? I'm in this sumo suit pushing him. But eventually he did let me win. But that's what they were doing. Some people, they let them win, and then other people, they were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna win this time. I really enjoyed being able to be so calm in such a big city, walk around and get around with public transportation. We definitely noticed that there was a lot of accessibility that was positive, truncated domes, the raised yellow dots. Those were invented in Japan, so they were everywhere, and that's really, really cool. We had some trouble finding elevators when we wanted to go to the subway or the metro. And that was a little difficult when we had our suitcases. There are elevator entrances to a lot of the stations. We just have to know where they are, and we didn't. So that posed a problem, a challenge for us sometimes. Walking around Tokyo, we spotted this box for crossing the street. It has, in many languages, press the button for an audible walk signal. It's not that loud when you're waiting to cross, but then when it's time for you to cross, it gets louder, so I did hear that. The other thing that I would say from an accessibility perspective, and I'll dive deeper into this in another video, is that I don't always love walking on the same, walking in a street that doesn't have a sidewalk. I prefer to be up on a sidewalk because there were many smaller streets in Tokyo where you're on the road, the same road as the cars, and you kind of have a painted area to the shoulder, that's your walking spot. It's not really a sidewalk. So that makes me a little bit nervous, but the drivers were very respectful. Tokyo surprised me in the best way. I never could have imagined that I would enjoy my time there so much so that I'm like ready to go back, because there are some things that we didn't do. We never made it to Shibuya. We reached the end of our trip and we're like, oh, we forgot to do that. And that's actually something I really wanted to see, also from an accessibility perspective. So we have a to-do list for Tokyo, and we are definitely making our way back. What surprised you about Tokyo from this video, and what would you like to do when you go? Let me know, and I'll see you around for the next video in our Japan series. If you want to see more videos on inclusive and accessible travel, subscribe to BlindishLatina and let me know all your questions in the comments, and I will see you next time.